Hello, good evening to everyone present here. So today we are having amidst us Priya Kushram. So she is an alumni from our department, Material Science Engineering, IIT Kanpur. So a brief introduction. Probably she will be explaining how she has gone through, but from a little knowledge about her. She's a BTMT student from Department of Material Science and Engineering, IIT Kanpur from 2014 to 19. And later, during the part of her BTech, uh, she has worked as a research scholar at University of Freiburg in Germany, and later she joined and worked at ExxonMobil as integrity engineer. And right now she is pursuing her PhD from Washington State University, USA from 2021. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm correct. Okay. So this is a brief introduction, and we'll start going with the questions. Okay.
Sure.
So the first thing which I got was, what's your experience of studying material science at IIT Kanpur? Like in your travel as for 4 years, like doing BTech and MTech in material science studying in IIT Kanpur.
Okay, that's a very good opening question. So see, like we all are from material science, right? So far you must have figured out like it's a very interdisciplinary branch, right? Like it's just not about some specific thing about it's about both engineering as well as science, right? You're studying chemistry, some aspect of biology if you're doing into like biomaterials research, or some mechanical manufacturing, some sort of physics knowledge that you need. So it's a very interdisciplinary, okay? So you will have a lot of options. I mean, what I found is that I had a lot of different options to explore if I'm gonna go for electronics, semiconductors, optics, biomaterials, and different fields. So overall, I felt like I had a lot of different options that I can explore inside the department. And like out of all the subjects that I studied on my second year onwards, I was very fascinated by the field of biomaterials. And like that's where I started working towards and did my summer projects under Professor Balani. And since then I've been working on the biomaterials field. So it was overall a very good experience. And you will have you can have multiple options that you can explore in this department of material science. If you want to study like optics or electronics, as I said, you can certainly do those or explore those options. So I mean, whatever whatever basically that interests you, we have those all options at IIT Kanpur. And IIT Kanpur definitely has one of the best material science department in the world. So you have all options, faculty for all, all different fields. So it's a very good platform for you guys and whatever that you want to explore within this department. So yeah, it was a very good learning experience for me there.
Okay. So what exactly fascinated you to take a material science engineering, and what, like, when you come from a BTech, when
Okay.
you come to your intermediate?
Sure.
So we
See,
just a master's.
I'll be very honest. So, when we apply to the school, obviously when I cleared like my exam for J, I had I had a little brief idea about material science, but I wasn't like completely aware of what happens inside this department. Okay. And I'm pretty sure like most of us don't have idea when we go for material science during our undergrad, right? So, I mean, of course, like talking to people, getting some, because I was very interested during my school days on some science, chemistry, biology, that aspect. So given all possible options, and like IIT Kanpur was my first choice to go, and given all options, my ranking and like some of my interest, I decided to go for material science. But coming to IIT Kanpur, I had other options to shift to different branch if I want to. But I wanted to explore within the material science also, like what are the options available. And in the first year, I didn't get that opportunity because it's mostly the common courses that we all had to do. But within the second year, when I, got introduced to the different courses, I think I liked it. Like I liked what I was doing. So it's like a, I almost didn't make this choice before. Like it wasn't completely a very comprehensive or decisive choice that I made before coming to IT Kanpur, but it was on the process. But when I explored it fully, when I was in the campus, I was doing my courses. I mean, I think I liked it, and that's why I continued. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, yes.
Mhm.
So coming start next question, general question is, what is something at IIT Kanpur you absolutely love to be a part of? What did you love it?
Um, do you want it to become? Do you want it to be, like related to department or in general my
general,
life at
general.
ITK?
Yeah, general. So
Okay, so
more.
so I mean, maybe like it's a it's a it's a really very learning platform being at IT Kanpur. I mean, if you guys are there, you should explore it to the best. You will not have these opportunities. I don't think, uh, you know, like IT Kanpur has everything that you want to, you know, in terms of your research that you want to explore. Like the top facilities, uh, like the top facilities and the faculties that you want to work with, and depending on your research interest. Coming about my experience at there, like it was a very steep learning curve from my first year to my fifth year. And it was always ups and downs on the way, but sometimes you do well. I did well, but at the same time, I wasn't doing well, uh, like be it my extracurricular, sometime academics. But overall, like I think, you know, like when you really work something, when you really work for something and you finally achieve it, for me, it's like I was I was very passionate to do like a like a good internship. I was like very interested to do a good internship opportunity. And during my third year, like when I was in my third year, it's like, you know, because research internships that if you're applying for, you don't get it like right into when you enter your third year. So you have to prepare and, just be patient and be consistent on your be consistent on what you're doing. So it's like after every hard work or whatever, the effort that I put in my first to fifth year, like I achieved that somewhere by the end of the every year. So I think, like, just be it about my placement or my internships or my sports, I was very active in sports. So be it like, did different things that I achieved, those all made my journey very very, interesting or fascinating at ITK.
Okay. So you were just telling about you have been a part of some games, sports, and co-curricular
Uh-huh.
activities.
Mhm.
So what did you participate in the college, like in IIT
I was very active in sports, especially in badminton. So I used to play badminton before I coming to ITK. So uh, I pursued that, like, as my extracurricular there also. And I was like playing since my first year to my fifth year. So yeah, I mean, that's like my stress burner. And like, that's something like that's my go-to place every evening. Yeah. So that's like my,
but
that's
you
like the
still
place I
manage.
go to. So, it's always something that we think in your mind that you will not be able to manage. But if you make a like a good timetable, if you have everything on schedule, you're easily able to manage everything. Like it's like you always think that you will not be able to do it, but if you don't do it, you will never know. Okay. So you can do a lot of things, okay? Just lot of things in the sense that not at a time. I mean, you have to. just make the priority of what you want to do at that moment. So if you have a priority list, what you want to do, or do you think that, if I can do it later, you can always well manage your time and schedule. It's like no big deal.
Yeah, management is.
Yeah, that's the key.
So going on to the next, I'm again into some technique. So they have a question that can you tell about your internship? So how did you
Uh-huh.
get into the university, and like how did the UGs, or you can try like what procedure have you, like
Okay, okay, sure.
how you ended up getting a
Yeah, yeah,
like
okay.
internship at foreign universities.
Okay, okay. Um, so again, there are like different programs that you can apply through. For example, I think for you guys, you can also apply through DAD. Okay. And then the other programs like MyTech, uh, they're like some, like online websites where you will where you can see different programs. It's like more the, the collaboration with ITK, or even in the international office page of ITK, you can find many programs that offer, this international semester exchange, summer research opportunities. uh so I mean, I applied in one or two programs, but I couldn't get in there. So like I started like writing individually to the professors there. So, I mean, I talked to different people, reach out to them, and I knew like where I wanted to work. I mean, I knew like which area I wanted to work. I was mostly interested in the field of polymers and all. So, made the list, made a spreadsheet in Excel where I want to apply. And then I reached out, wrote mails to them. You have to be very patient, when you apply for these programs, because sometimes you get acceptance, sometimes you don't. But sometimes even if you get, the good response from that professor, you don't get paid. So you have to, constantly uh, apply and optimize where you can optimize as you start applying, where you can have the best, uh, where you can have the best opportunity. And then, yeah, I mean, you can get an internships. So it's like for me, I mean, I wanted to mainly do it in the Europe. Uh, so, I made the list of professors primarily in Germany where I can apply to. So, yeah, I mean, like I made the list, and that helped. That helped. Just the same. Apply, get response. If you don't apply next, simple. But
Okay,
I mean, it's worth an experience. Okay, so if you guys want to go, you should definitely apply. It's a very good experience, exposure.
so coming to the like on the similar lines of questions, so you have done your project work here in IIT
Mm-hmm.
Kanpur, and you have done
Mm-hmm.
your internship. That's also a similar sort of project in Germany. So
Mm-hmm.
how is it different, and what things have changed? Like how it's different from here and working there? You have experienced.
So are you talking about like the like the my work that I was doing,
Like
or like
yeah,
general?
yeah, your work experience. Like the question was one like how is it different from working here in Germany, and right now you're in US, so you are into three different countries
Uh-huh.
of three different cultures of research. So how are they like this? Like you can just have a comment like how it's different from the three places you're the same of research
Sure,
of
sure, sure, sure.
bio.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Uh, so I first talk about Germany and my experience at ITK. So it's the area of research was quite different. There in Germany, I worked on basically soft matter physics, polymer thin films, and at ITK, I worked on uh, like the polymer. I mean, basically, it's like UHMW, ultra high molecular weight polyethylene based hip replacement component. So, in terms of work, I mean, it's mostly like you who are doing the work, right? I had mentors at both the places, but it's not it's not like a lot different because it's independently you are doing. Okay. So I wouldn't like call it different, but it just, I don't
Like
know,
what
like
is it? So, like you can keep in terms of the learning experience you have gone in IIT Kanpur. How was the learning experience there in Germany and right now in your PhD at Washington?
okay.
So, so,
So so
so
so so PhD, it's like different. Okay, I mean it's like it's very constant, right? Like, so like in Germany, I was there for a very short period. Okay, I mean I was just there for three months, and at ITK I was like for 5 years. So again, I mean, there when I went to Germany, I wanted to like explore, the country, the culture, everything along with my studies. So I like, and of course, I mean, in the 3 months, it's very different, okay, because like it goes very fast. You don't have
okay.
you have your work, but that's like the period is very short as compared to what I stayed at, like, compared to my period at ITK, which is like, because I did my summer projects over my span of 3 to 4 years. Okay, so the learning experience, like, has been up to me, like how I wanted to learn, like, because it's like I did my work both at both the places very independently. So, and the works are also different, but mm, all both of them, they really excited me. But like, I still wanted to be in the field of biomaterials. So I decided not to continue my research in that field in soft metaphysics at Germany, and instead, uh, like, you focus on the biomaterials. And I did my master's on that, and I'm continuing my research and PhD on the same thing in the sense, on just some level up. And yeah, I mean, in PhD, I mean, if you guys are doing PhD, like it's very steep, right? Like, it's been a year for me since I'm here, and it has been a very steep learning curve. Lot of, I mean, because I'm like moving back to from corporate uh to my graduate studies, and it's good. It's good. It's a very steep learning curve and experience for me, and I'm still learning. I just finished my first year and like starting my second year. But it was a very steep learning curve last 1 year as compared to my 4 or 5 years at IDK. I could say even like, like the last 1 year, what I learned is like almost equivalent to 3 to 4 years at IDK. It was very steep. Yeah.
You're fast learning.
I mean, I don't know, like, but we have to, right? Like,
Yes,
it's like PhD is
yes,
like, you have to
yes.
spend time, you
Correct.
have to like give time.
So the another thing, like you also have, as you mentioned, you have worked in ExxonMobil.
Yeah, yeah.
So the students want to know like how was your interview experience and how was the work there, and
Sure, sure.
like students are going to go to
Yeah,
placements, like
yeah.
they have a
Yeah.
question.
I was about to, I mean, I was about to come to that question about, just giving sharing my experience about joining ExxonMobil. So, first thing, okay, so I'm just gonna give some, like, overview of my interview prep and test prep, and then coming to ExxonMobil. Okay. So, I mean, as you guys know, right, like there is like a test there is an interview test that you have to give for when you apply for ExxonMobil, right? Like, I think the placement season is coming up in December, so you probably will have the test. Um, is it coming? Like, is it ExxonMobil coming every year for recruiting? Did it do you have the statistics with you?
Don't know, like
Uh-huh.
something like
Okay. So it probably
yeah,
is coming. Yeah.
yeah.
So the preparation start with giving the test. So I think the test pretty much is from, as I remember, because it's long back in 2018. So as I remember, it was mostly from the metallurgy, the, I think iron phase diagram, and like mostly from the physical metallurgy of what we studied. Okay. So like, like you don't have to go beyond what you already study in your courses to prepare for prepare for the interview, for sorry, to prepare for the written test. But so I think you can mostly qualify the test, but interview is the most important aspect, okay, of like to see if you can, if they hire you or not. And for interview, you have to like prepare for, you know, normal HR questions that they ask, because as I remember, they mostly, to all of the people, they mostly ask the HR questions, you know, like your strength, your weakness, your experiences, what you're achieved in your life that you're proud of, like basic HR questions. And like what I think I've realized during when I applied for this company is because like people are like, you know, not fully prepared for these HR questions. They mostly like study the technical aspect, but they will not fully focus on the HR questions. I think that's where the people, you know, they lose points. So like if you guys are applying for this company or any core companies, along with the, you know, the technical questions that you prepare for, like do well preparation for HR questions too. Those are very important. Uh, so if you're like good enough. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, so they're joining.
Oh, I think it got disconnected, right? Was it
Yes,
because
yes.
of the timing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We are started. I expected to be completing by 40, but
Oh, okay, okay, no problem. Yeah. So I was just saying, you know, if you're preparing for this, any interviews for the core companies, even for the non-core companies, some banks or data science or data analyst field, just make sure you always have your, you know, like HR questions well prepared, and like practice them a lot with your friends, because sometimes you just go blank when you are in sitting in an interview room, you know, in the front of the interviewer, and you just go like you don't be able to answer, or you just get nervous a lot. And like that's where, you know, that's what they are actually looking for. That's like one of the most important thing that they're looking for. So always make sure you prepare well for those things and just be confident.
and regarding your experience there in ExxonMobil, and how was your
Ah,
work?
okay. Sure, sure. So I was like working as an integrity engineer in ExxonMobil. So I was mostly looking for the risk management of, you know, so you know, right, ExxonMobil is an oil and gas company. It's like it has its plants, like oil and gas plants, like globally, like all over, all across the world. So I was like working for one of their plant based in Canada, and I used to like look over the risk management strategy of the pressure equipments that are, you know, installed or used for the flow of oil, and basically their, you know, risk management of those uh, pressure equipments or vessels that are used in those, in like those plants. It was a pretty interesting role that I had. uh like it was a very good experience of working there, and I am like pretty sure if you guys are, you know, like into the physical metallurgy, or uh if you enjoy this aspect, like if you enjoy the physical metallurgy part, studying about iron and steel, you guys will definitely have, you will definitely enjoy your experience at Exxon. I was like, for me, I was, you know, I wanted to explore this corporate, and like I wanted to like get to know or have experience at corporate, but like during that time itself, like I felt like, you know, I'm like more suited for graduate studies, and I like to work, you know, like be myself, keep in academia. So I switched back to graduate studies. Yep.
So coming to the next one, like how did you prepare your profile to get into PhDs like
Uh-huh.
at US? So
Just 1 second. Yeah, yeah. No problem. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's again applying for PhD program is US is a very expensive process. There are like a lot of things. I mean, in addition to, like patience and everything, it's a very extensive process, starting with university selections, profile. Like if you have your area, research of area decided, then it's good to go. I had my decided, so, and I wanted to stick to that. So the process started with, like making the list of universities where you want to apply. So for PhD, like along with the university is also important the lab that you're applying for, because that equally has an important role in your PhD career path. So looking for different research groups or labs that you want to work in, universities, and some people look for certain area of, I mean, if you're applying in US, some people have preference for East Coast, West Coast. And like then like so you have your own list of references where you want to apply. Okay, that's first thing. And then you apply, then you work on yours, cover letter, statement of purpose, give your GRE exams, TOEFL exams, just the basic requirement. So I think these days, like a lot of universities are, like waving off the GRE score. So that's a good thing. But if you're it's always a good idea to give the GRE score, because that's again is very important. So there's different exams, and then maybe reaching out to professors that telling that you're interested in their labs, and that improves your chances of acceptance into those universities. Okay. And then making the list of universities based on the ranking research groups, keeping some safe options, some ambitions, those things. And then finally applying for different universities. So most of these universities have their deadline in the month of December or January. So like making a very customized statement of purpose or cover letter for different universities. And I think then you do your best during this time, like, and then you get you get offer, or if you get admitted, you get these offers in the month of March, February, or sometime January itself. But yeah, I mean, it's a very extensive process, but it's a good experience, even if you, yeah, like if like it's a good experience, and it's a good experience to coming to here and working, and it's all a different culture. It's good experience, I would say.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the next is like make generalized question. So like
Mhm.
what opportunities in the core sector, or what opportunities do we have as an MSc student who's doing a bachelor's or master's here? So what are
Mhm.
opportunities like you have gone through, like your experience through industry and academia, and what else are
Uh-huh.
there
Okay.
you have known by your experience or your
Uh-huh.
journey?
Okay. Okay, so
So
I'm not only gonna talk about what I have experienced, but I just like want to, talk about the research opportunities, or basically the opportunities that are present after doing the masters or PhDs. Okay, so you can always apply for the postdoc positions. If you want to stick to India, you can apply in the postdoc positions in India itself, or even in different countries or continents like Europe or US. Okay. And then you can always apply for the companies that that come for recruitment at IT Kanpur. And I think IT Kanpur has like really good placement, really good, have a placement office. As I know, they really have a good placement office as compared to other IT. So you guys are in a good place. So you can apply through through those companies and get to go to those companies. And we also have these labs, right, in India, like ISRO labs, DRDO, and these labs like CSIR, where you can apply for, or even the IITs or other universities where you can apply for uh, professorship positions if you want to continue academia, right? Or like people sometimes also come outside for as a research scholar or mostly as a postdoc, but you have plenty of opportunities available both inside the, I mean, within India and outside world.
Okay. Oh, then like going from the academic. So one general, like, what is the most valuable thing that IIT Kanpur has taught you? Like you
So,
feel, yeah, you can.
so, so, I tell you, like, idea, but
It's very
so,
tricky.
yeah, I'm gonna tell, okay. So, I think it's like what I learned and from what most of my batchmates have experienced, like have that stay at IIT Kanpur was never easy. Okay. Like it wasn't easy for any of us, like coming to first year, getting that rock bottom down. Okay. Academia was like very tough for us, for most of us at first year. Okay. And then the cycle goes up. But, you know, most of us, like what I've experienced is, it has, IIT Kanpur has made us, the very strong person that we are today. So like no matter how deep rock bottom you hit or, your down moments can go down, you can always go up from that point and do well in your life. You can like always do amazing in your life because, and like, like as I've seen, like people really do well. Okay. Like they eventually end up really getting where they want to and really getting where they want to, no matter from where they started, you know. So I think that's what I have learned or my most valuable experience, like no matter how like how rock bottom you hit or like no matter wherever you are or how bad you perform, you can always go up from there and you can always be in your position, always in the position where you want to or whatever you can achieve. It makes you a very strong or a will person. It gives you a very strong willpower and make you a very strong person and very hardworking person. That's thing I think that's what I value the most about my stay at there. Because in my life, for my experience also, there have been a lot of time uh, when I couldn't do anything, and like things were like not in my control, or like a lot of things that happened. But I think eventually I ended up doing well where I wanted to go. Sometimes slow, sometimes fast, but I eventually got what I wanted. So I think it makes you a very strong and hardworking person. I mean, hardworking you all are, but it gives you that willpower that you can do anything that you want to do in your life. And that willpower stays with you for the rest of your life, no matter where you go, wherever you go. IIT makes you the best version of yourself. Trust me. You will realize that when you come out of there. It's a very golden platform. It's a golden days. It's a golden state being at IDK.
Yeah, we hope to enjoy.
Yeah.
And okay, coming to the last question, what's that you
Mhm.
miss about IIT Kanpur? Like,
Oh,
what's your?
that's a very it's a very that's a very, yeah, like a sad ending question. So I mean honestly, uh I miss everything about IDK. Okay. Like everything, like the mess food, the classes, the group, the badminton, the sports part. Everything IDK was, it was all together a fun being with your friends and like it was like a family, right? And whatever that I was there, whatever the period that I stayed there and the people that I have met, they so you meet the best people. Okay, you meet the best people IDK. Like they like everyone is is like a like is the best version of themselves there. Okay, so you meet these people. It's a very good, the set of people that you come across and you learn a lot from all these different people. So I actually think one of the things that I miss about IDK is, just being around the very talented people and getting to know and learn everything I mean, I'm not saying it's not talented people outside, but it's like altogether a very, very good platform where you have where you have the people from a lot of knowledge that you can learn from. And, the it's always a very learning experience, it's a very steep learning experience. And yeah, the food, the mess, the sports, the department, faculty, library, CCD, subsidized CCD, to be honest. Yep. I honestly miss that canteen samosa chai from that southern canteen. Like that's like go-to place next to CCD. So yep, I miss a lot of things. It's a very different life coming out of Kanpur. It's a very different
Nostalgic.
life. Yeah. Nostalgic. I'm always like, we just always, my friends and I always just keep talking about our days at ITK. I mean, that's all our discussion is. So, yeah.
Okay. So I went with the question. So the audience, if they have anything, they can ask directly. Yeah.
Uh, Hi Priya, I am Anand
Hi.
Krishnan.
Hi,
I'm
Anand.
Anand Krishnan from MTech second year.
Okay.
So currently the placement dates are approaching.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to ask like how to approach the examinations. It would be a very hectic schedule. I have seen my previous friends too. They had been like continuously writing exams for a month. So how to cope up with this and how to manage our exams, how to target companies. Like, should we have some target companies or just go by
Mm-hmm.
the flow by sitting in every company and just get into something?
Okay, okay. It's a very good question. I mean, if you're talking about the targeting the companies, so it's like 300 or 500 or so many companies come and they are open to recruit people from our department. But you have to basically filter and think about the companies or shortlist the companies that you want to sit for. Okay, I mean, you cannot apply for every companies and prepare for every companies. You have to make the list or decide if you want to apply for core companies or non-core companies. If within the core companies, make the list of those core companies and make the list and see like what
Uh,
what are the the what are they look what those companies are looking for. Okay, you have to like do it in a very planned way. Okay, if you're like interested in a non-core like data science or data analyst, make the list of those companies and see what they are looking for and prepare in that direction. Okay, and if you're talking about like giving the exams, the company usually, you can ask to your seniors, like, if are in those companies, like what type of questions did the company ask? Like if it's applied materials, you can reach out to people from applied materials and ask like what are the questions that they were asked. So you can, like do it in a more planned way rather than applying for all the companies, because otherwise it becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult to to apply for
uh,
or prepare for any of those companies.
yeah, sure. Thanks. We'll do follow it.
Sure.
Hello.
Hi, Pooja.
Hi. Hi, Priya. I have one question. Like
Sure.
you were working in ExxonMobil, and after
Hmm.
that you go for PhD. So, like,
Right.
what motivate you to do so? Why
O-
for higher studies?
okay, that's a very good question. So I think, as I told before also, that, like during my 5 years at IIT, I was mostly in the part of the research. But at the same time, I wanted to get the corporate experience, like, how is the life at working in a company, or how is it different than research? So that's why I sat for my placement in my last year. That's like in my 5th year. And I went for the company placement, and I got into the company. But again, I mean, like getting the exposure there, and staying there, like just being there for a year or so. Like with time, I've realized, that, like, okay, I think it's like, I mean, all the work was interesting, but I was always motivated towards the field of biomedical or biomaterials. And just being in that company wasn't like possible for me to continue my research on biomaterials. So that's why I decided to switch back to academia and continue my research on the biomedical field. Hope that answered your question.
Yeah, you've answered. Okay. Thank you, Priya.
No problem. Any more question, guys?
I think I think no one has any questions.
Okay.
So, okay, thank you very much, Priya.
No problem.
Spending your time and like early in the morning, fresh morning with us.
No problem. It was a very good experience for me also. I hope
So,
I helped answering those questions that you asked.
yeah. I think we do share this video on YouTube. So,
Okay.
so, and one more thing, probably you are not here, so
Uh-huh.
but each and every speaker we present them with a souvenir of Mitra Advantage Cup. So,
Uh-huh.
so the next time when you come to IIT Kanpur to visit, sometime your
Sure.
cup is still here.
Oh,
You
thanks a
can
lot.
just.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Priya.
You're welcome, guys. Thanks for having me.
Okay, we will end this meeting. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you, Priya. Good morning again.
Yeah, good evening there.
Thank you. Good night. Stay in India.